Now, now here I will teach. In the previous lecture, I have taught you the basics of the Python. I will teach you the advanced Python later. Okay. Now, now in this today's live stream, I will teach you some machine learning basics. Yes, machine. Okay. So let's begin. So what is machine learning? Okay, let's go to the formal definition. Machine learning. Machine learning, as you can see, the field of artificial intelligence that enables computing systems to learn from data and improve their performance on the task over time without being explicitly programmed for every instruction. So in today's era, like if you have written the Python code, what you do, you write a definition, you write a function, define a function, and that function will do what you have written already. It is a hard coded, but in machine learning, you will learn to create some system, something, some codes that automatically learns, okay, from the data and improve the performance over time without explicitly programmed. You do not have to define that it has to do something like this. It will learn automatically. So that is machine learning. Now, in machine learning, there are two types of main learning. Basically, more than two types. But first, we will discuss the two types. Okay, supervised and unsupervised. What is supervised? So, suppose if I have to teach you something, no, like I am teaching here machine full stack here. So, what happens if if you if let's guess something. Okay, first let's take the basic example. Okay, if you have a land and then if you have to predict its price, so how could you do it? First, you will see your neighbor. Like, what are the neighbor? What price do neighbors sell, or what do they consider that the price on the basis of like you will take some measure of price per square feet like this. Then the output will be plotted. Like here, the price versus the size is plotted here, and we can see that it is general trend that if the price got increases, if the size got increases, then price will automatically increase. So regression just learns this. How it learns? It creates it just first we will have to plot this and we will feed it to the model. Then model will learn to map the size to the price to math by using some complex mathematical function, which we don't know. Okay, but we know that it will be linear. As we can see, it is a linear function. It will be linear mathematical function. Okay, so it just maps it, and then that's how if you enter the new value if you enter the new value or pass the new value to the function, to the model, then it will predict. Okay, that's the regression. So supervised learning have basically they have both the things. They have input and output also. Like if they have size and their target variable price also, and that is used to train a machine learning model. Okay, it is necessary. If suppose I have given the size only, how can we predict the price if you don't know the predicted? The model doesn't have seen any price. Okay. Now coming to the classification, what classification means? Classifying things. Now suppose if there is a person, if there is a tumor data set, Now, based on the tumor size, we could say that the person have a tumor or the person doesn't have a tumor. So it is just a classification task. Okay, and we could also we, we have we have more than one features like tumor size and age. Then we will have we could plot it on the graph by observing the trends that tumor size is less and age is less. That it doesn't need to be a tumor, or it is a benign. And then if tumor size is more and it is the person age is more, then it might be a malignant. Okay, so that's how classification works. So, okay, so what's the difference between classification and regression? Sorry, yes, it's regression. So regression means the output will have the infinite possible values. Okay, first machine learning have output. Machine learning provide outputs. So supervised learning provide outputs to learn. And then in regression, these output could be many, and the output will have infinite possible values. But in classification, the output is minimal, like it is 2 or 3 or 4 or 10, something like this, and it could be used to predict only in that range. Now coming to the unsupervised. In supervised, we have y available and x is mapped to the y. But in unsupervised, there is no y. So what? There is no label. So what? Like if suppose there's a company with a large group of data sets. So what the company does is they give the data to the machine learning engineer. Then the machine learning engineer or data science scientist will just plot it, okay, and apply some algorithms to find some patterns, and on the basis of the patterns they will give someone who is expert in that field. Okay, the expert will try to understand the pattern and label it accordingly. So they doesn't have label, but the algorithm just classify them into various categories, and these categories are later labeled. So they doesn't have initial name. Okay, we don't know that how many clusters of can be formed. Although we could define in the report, but we are not sure that how much exact number of cluster must be suited. Cluster must be suited. So that's unsupervised. So clustering is an example. Like here, if suppose in a business, we have to identify our target customers. So what we can do is we could create cluster, and in a group of cluster of people, there is necessarily a similar kind of interest or similar kind of people. Okay. So those similar people will always will have a similar choices, and then we could target them. If the person A in the cluster likes this, it might be possible that the person A dash must like that content. Okay, so that's unsupervised. So now summarizing all, in supervised learning we have target value to train our model, but in unsupervised there is no target value. In supervised learning, the output, there are two types of supervised learning: regression and classification. In regression, we have finite possibilities of output values, but in classification, we have some categories which are defined. Okay, and in unsupervised learning, there is no y, there is no labeling of y. We just apply some algorithms that we cluster it, and then we label it accordingly by understanding the pattern. Okay, so that's how we have completed the basics of machine learning. Now in the next video I will teach. Great, thank you.